So, what is an environmental consultant, and do you even need one? If you've ever asked that, you're not alone. That's why we put this video together. In the next few minutes, we'll break down what an environmental consultants actually do, what they don't do, what it's like to work with one, how much they cost, and what you need to watch out for when you're hiring one. Hi, I'm Doug Rulin from Resource Management Associates, an environmental consulting firm that helps businesses meet their environmental goals. Kind of vague, right? We know. This is a hard video to make because environmental consulting varies extremely widely depending upon who you're talking to and what you're talking about. With that disclaimer out of the way, let's jump in. So what do environmental consultants actually do? That's kind of like asking, what does a mechanic do? Some work on cars, some fix lawnmowers, some build rocket engines. Same title, totally different jobs. Environmental consulting is the same way. At a basic level, consultants help people solve problems or make decisions that involve the environment. But the day-to-day varies a lot. So if you're trying to figure out whether you need one, don't focus on the title environmental consultant, focus on the problem you're trying to solve. So are there different types of environmental consultants? Well, kind of, but not normally in an official labeled way. Some consultants handle construction phase stuff like erosion plans or wetland reviews. Others focus on helping business operate under regulations, things like permits, plans, and reporting. Some dig into property transactions and property contamination through site assessments, soil testing, and cleanup activities. And some help companies become greener, setting sustainability goals or chasing down certifications. Most firms specialize in an area or two. Pretty much no one does everything. At RMA, our sweet spot is regulatory work for operating facilities, things like permits, plans, reporting, training, and some other specialized services. We also help clients build practical environmental management systems and simple sustainability programs. And we do premium phase 1 site assessments for due diligence purposes. We don't do things like soil testing, construction permitting, wildlife and wetland surveys, design treatment systems, or build complex software from the ground up. That's just not our world, and we're not going to fake it or try to win businesses that we're not built to serve. One more thing, size matters. There are big national firms with lots of overhead, small solo consultants doing local work, and everything in between. No two are alike, and a website services page rarely tells the full story. So how does someone become an environmental consultant? Most start with a degree in environmental science, geology, biology, or something like that. Others come up through hands-on experience, maybe in construction, laboratories, or operations, and move into consulting over time. Some roles require specific licenses or credentials, others don't, which means sometimes you need a very specific person, and other times experience matters more than job titles or certifications. In some firms, recent college grads, junior staff, or interns handle the bulk of the nitty-gritty stuff. That's how a lot of people get started, and that's fine, but it's worth knowing who's actually doing the work you're paying for. So then what don't environmental consultants do? Well, plenty. No consultant does everything, and if they say they do, that ought to be a red flag. But there are also things that people think that fall under consultant that usually don't. Let's clear that up. Legal work. We're not attorneys. We can explain the rules and help you stay compliant, but if you're dealing with a lawsuit, you need a lawyer, not a consultant. Engineering design. Some consulting firms have engineers on staff or work with them for certain things that you need to do to be certified, but you wouldn't really hire an environmental consulting firm if you needed to design and build a bridge. Laboratory analysis. Things like soil, water, or air testing usually go to third-party labs. Consultants can help you take samples and interpret results, but we're not the ones in the lab coats. Construction. We might guide or review the project from an environmental standpoint, but we're not designing the project, swinging the hammer, or operating heavy machinery. And emergency response. Most consultants aren't hazmat teams. If there's an active spill or emergency, you're going to call 911, then your cleanup crew, then us lastly. We can help with prevention, planning, and post-incident support, but we're not emergency responders. So why would you hire an environmental consultant? Simple, because you've got an environmental issue to deal with and you want to get it right. Sometimes it's just about getting up and running with a new facility. Sometimes it's about compliance, permits, reports, spill plans, all of that sort of thing. Sometimes it's going above and beyond to be a leader in your industry. Sometimes it's about protecting your investment. And sometimes it's just needing help figuring out what even applies to your business. We find that most people are really just looking for clarity and confidence. Whether it's a basic compliance or building a full program, they want to do it right without guessing. So how much does it cost to hire an environmental consultant? Well, it's kind of like asking, how much does it cost to hire a mechanic? Are they fixing a bike tire, a refrigerator, a boat, or a jet engine? Most projects fall somewhere in the middle, anywhere from $1,000 to $80,000. Well, that's a big range, but it's the realistic zone for about 80% of the work we see. A basic SPCC for one site? That's your small refrigerator repair. It's maybe $1,000 to $5,000. Now let's say you've got multiple facilities across multiple states and need permits, plans, training, and reporting, and you need it fast. That's your big boat overhaul. You're probably looking at $40,000 to $80,000. Some jobs are smaller, like reviewing a form or uploading a report. It's kind of like changing a bike tire situation. Maybe that's $250 to $500. And on the other end of the spectrum, that's the jet engine. A full-scale environmental program with custom systems and complex strategy across dozens of sites, that could run $200,000 or more. So what does it cost? It depends on what we're fixing. How long does it take to work with an environmental consultant? From our experience, most projects take a few weeks to a few months. Long enough to do things right, but not so long that they drag on forever. Some small tasks, like reviewing a form or updating a plan, might only take a couple of days. On the flip side, major projects like rolling out a company-wide program or navigating slow government permitting can take a year or more. And sometimes it doesn't really end. A lot of clients keep us on as long-term partners, calling us in when things change for updates, audits, or just general support. So ask yourself, are you solving a one-time issue or building an ongoing relationship to stay ahead of the curve? Okay, so what's it usually like to work with an environmental consultant? Well, it depends. But here's what it typically looks like, especially with us. First, expect a site visit. We want to see things in person. Whether it's a permit for your auto shop or you're building a new data center, being on site helps us understand what's really going on. Photos, questions, walking the site, you just can't get that from Google Maps alone. You'll be in regular communication. This isn't a set it and forget it type deal. We'll be emailing, calling, reviewing drafts, maybe asking for records or details about how your site runs. It's a collaborative process, but we'll try and keep it efficient. You might get a few unexpected questions, like where chemicals are stored, how drains are connected, or what happens when it rains. It might feel like we're poking around, and we are, with purpose. And there will be deliverables, but probably follow-ups too. Sure, we'll deliver your plan, permit, report, or program. But things change, your operations evolve, rules shift, inspectors show up. What starts as a one-time project sometimes turns into a long-term partnership. So how should you go about picking an environmental consultant? Well, there's no one-size-fits-all answer, but here are a few things that you want to get right. First, make sure they actually do what you need. You'd be surprised how many times environmental firms will say yes to everything, even if it's not their specialty. Need an NPDES stormwater permit? Then don't hire someone who only does soil testing. Nobody does it all. Start by getting clear on your problem, then find someone who's proven in that area. Secondly, match the level of service to your actual needs. If you just need help submitting a simple report, you don't need to bring in a global consulting giant. That's like hiring a rocket scientist to fix your toaster. But you also don't want the cheapest option if your needs are complex. Set a realistic budget and look for a firm who matches up. Finally, pay attention to how they communicate. Consulting firms are made up of people, and people have personalities, habits, and quirks. Some are really buttoned up and technical. Others might feel stuck in the 1970s and ask you to fax things. Some use vague language or make you feel bad for asking questions. Others might be too casual or loose for your taste. Can you have a real normal conversation with them? Do they make things clearer or more confusing? That first call is your gut check. Trust it. So after all that, what kind of an environmental consulting firm is RMA? Well, we're not a massive corporate powerhouse or a one-man basement operation. We sit right in the middle, and that's by design. We're big enough to handle complex work, move fast, and stay on top of regulations. But we're small enough that you know who you're working with and that you can call us directly when something comes up. Most of our clients are in that same middle space. They've got a few facilities to manage, moderate needs, and no time to chase down vague answers or decode government forms. They just want to stay ahead of the issue, meet their obligations, and have someone they trust to call when things get confusing. We focus on the essentials: permitting, plans, reporting, audits, due diligence, training, and practical environmental systems. We don't try to do everything. We're not testing soil or coding groundbreaking sustainability software. But the things we do really well. And we don't hand projects off to junior staff. This is our career. And the same goes for our pricing. We don't lowball to win the job, and we don't inflate just because we can. You'll get a clear scope, a fair price, and work that holds up when it matters. Working with us usually feels like this: serious work, easy conversation. We'll walk your site, write your plan, answer your Friday afternoon email, and maybe talk baseball for a bit before getting back to stormwater outfalls. Some clients bring us in once. Others keep us around for decades. We're good with both, as long as the work is clear, useful, and helps you move forward. That's our approach. Practical, honest, and built for real people. Hey, thanks for watching. This is a tough subject to try to sum up in a video, so check out the link below to read the full post where we dive a bit deeper. And if you're interested in getting started with RMA, or you're not sure exactly what you need, but you know you need something, then let's talk. Fill out a form on our website, give us a call, or shoot us an email. We'll help you figure out what applies, what matters most, and what it's going to take to get it right. Even if that means we're not the right consultant for you.